Should you buy Crowdstrike stock before August 28? That's when the company will release their latest quarterly numbers. Now, of course, we know that all the attention will be on how big of an impact was the outage on Q2, right? Because it happened before the quarter ended, so it probably has a small impact. Secondly, guidance, next quarter and for the full year. How is that changing? What is management going to tell us? Have they spoken with their big clients? Are they renewing? Are they adding? What's the sentiment like? That's all of the attention for next week. But right now, what should we do? Should we buy? Should we wait for the earnings report? Currently the stock did rebound from its lows back in early August. We're now back at $270, has a market cap of close to $66 billion. Year to date, we're still up 6% or so. We're down close to 15% at the start of August. But year over year, you have still performed quite well. I'm sure plenty of you have been holding CrowdStrike for quite a while, so you're still all in the green. Even if we zoom out a little bit more, last 5 years, stock is up 173%. Currently, the analyst estimates, probably some estimates have changed a little bit. We can see it go down a tiny bit. They're still expecting revenue for fiscal year 2025 to grow close to 30%, then in fiscal year 26 close to 25%, and then 27, 22%. As for EPS, it's about the same, 27% year-over-year growth for fiscal year 25, 20% growth for fiscal year 2026, and then reacceleration, 26% growth in fiscal year 2027. And those estimates have, of course, come down a little bit. Now, currently, the average analyst price target sits at $338, representing close to 25% upside from the price we're at today. And yes, here, yet again, it did come down. The average analyst price target did come down. Overall, while this stock is trading under its 5-year mean from a forward PE, EV to EBITDA, price to sales, price to free cash flow standpoint, yes, it is still quite expensive. We're now forward PE of 67 times. Its lowest point here was around 50 times. So definitely a company, again, a stock that will never be trading at a cheap valuation, or at least right now that's not the case. Maybe 5-10 years from now, when the business is a bit more mature and more profitable, maybe then it will be trading in the 20-30s or something like that. But right now, yes, even with the impact, you are still going to pay quite a premium. Now, before continuing, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, we really appreciate that. Want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Now, let's have a quick look at what Palo Alto Networks reported, plus one comment with regards to CrowdStrike that were mentioned during the call. And then we'll go and have a small recap of CrowdStrike and a couple of analyst commentaries. So during the Palo Alto earnings call, they said this: a quick note on the recent widespread outages in the industry. I want to reiterate, our product uses an approach that deploys a 1% to 3% wide sample test cohort to ensure no issues, and then we'll release content updates in a phased manner. We have additionally enabled controls so customers can manage the update process and control it. The recent outage has caused a number of customers to reevaluate their options. They have initiated conversations with us around XDR and XCM. This, plus our industry-leading Cortex technology, is appealing, as we've talked to everyone we've talked to so far, and we think it has potential to further drive our Cortex momentum. These were the results for Q4. Overall, the quarter and guidance, there were beats across the board, small misses in product revenue, but nothing that raises any red flags. Now, moving on to CrowdStrike. This is, of course, Q1, just so it refreshes your memory. Ending ARR increased 33% year over year to $3.65 billion. Net new ARR increased 22% year over year to $212 million. As for operating margin, that's 22%. That was up 5 percentage points year over year. Diluted earnings per share, 93 cents. That's up 63% year over year. Free cash flow of $322 million. That was up 42% year over year. And free cash flow margin of 35% and a rule of 40 of 68. With regards to the Falcon platform, they said here deals with 8 or more modules grew by 95% year over year. So they've got 65% customers adopted 5 or more modules, 44% adopted 6 or more modules, and 28% adopted 7 or more modules. Of course, in a quarter or two, you would like to see this slide appear yet again and see if the outage has had any major negative impact. And so, for Q2, so the quarter that they will report next week, they expect revenue to come between $958 and $961 million. Non-GAAP income from operation between $208 and $210.5 million. Non-GAAP net income $246 million at the midpoint, and non-GAAP net income per share between 98 and 99 cents. So let's see if they can beat that. If not, how big of a miss? As for the full year 2025, they expect revenue to come between $3.97 and $4.01 billion. Income from operations closer to $900 million. Net income close to $1 billion, and non-GAAP net income per share between $3.93 and $4.03. And so, of course, we would like to see how much of an impact it has on future guidance, how much a reduction, or if there is no reduction, even better, but I guess there's going to be a small revision on the downside. As for some analyst commentary here, this is from Bank of America. So Crowdstrike is scheduled to report Q2 earnings on the 28th of August, marking the first public commentary since the software incident that sparked a global IT outage on July 19th. We expect Q2 revenues to be in line with guidance and model revenue growth of 28%. However, we do believe the IT incident, which occurred 10 days before quarter end, likely led to some delays in sales cycles and or some kind of discounting to customers. We model approximately 50% sequential decline in net new ARR and expect management to take a conservative approach and reduce full year guidance to account for potential impacts from the incident. We crudely assume fiscal year 24 revenue growth of 28% versus prior guidance of 31%. Yet this number could materially deviate from our estimate. They still have a buy rating with a price target of $365. As for Bernstein, they said here, today's stock price seems to imply tail value materially comes down, not just short-term impact. We ran multiple scenarios, including that we think is more likely moderate, around 1 year, but limited long-term impact. We also explore a more significant downside around 2-year impact and small long-term to get the current trading price. The latter is odd, with our multiple lower than DCF, so we look at a third downside to reach today's price with less short-term impact. But taking down the tail value around 1/3, something we think is less likely, the reality may not be so bad. The year-over-year revenue growth from existing customers, that's around 60% of the mix, may not be too large. Churn seems unlikely, and the value of platform expansion, if a customer stays with Crowdstrike, isn't really damaged. The around 40% year-over-year growth from new customers seems to be the bigger risk, but probably short-lived. We do hear that new vendors are being added to the consideration set late in the process, often Palo Alto and SentinelOne. This may elongate deals, but it's early to assess if the loss rate goes up. Cyber practitioners we speak with are skeptical of too much impact. Many historical examples had little impact, and the worst cases seem to rebound within 1 year. And so, they still have a price target of $315. And the last one here from D.A. Davidson, they have maintained their buy rating, but the investment bank slashed its price target of the cybersecurity firm to $290 from $380. They determined the outage created a 12% negative impact to Crowdstrike's second quarter sales numbers. While our channel survey indicated a healthy percent of Crowdstrike customers have begun to consider alternative post-outage, we believe the majority will stay put once they compare Crowdstrike head-to-head with inferior solutions from peers. Still, the bank believes Crowdstrike will face challenges booking new logos over the next few quarters at least. And so before concluding this video, right now this is basically the chart. So we dropped 50% since that outage, 50% all the way down to around $200. Since then, the stock has rebounded close to 35%. We're now sitting under the 200-day moving average, which sits at $296. The 50-day one sits at $294, and the 20-day one at $262, which is where we found support earlier this week, as you can see right here. So overall, to me, it's pretty simple. If you bought the dip at around $200 or $210 or $220, I think there is no reason for you to do anything right now. Wait until next week, you'll get more information. Even if the stock goes down, at least you have that information to work with. If you did not buy the dip in the last couple of weeks, and you're looking to maybe open a position, the answer here is exactly the same. Why take the risk 1 week before the earnings report? If you can wait 1 week, get to the numbers. And here on the flip side, even if the stock goes up, at least you have more information, and so your risk has come down a little bit. Yes, the stock has gone up, but at least you know why. Probably because guidance was not as bad as feared, probably some commentary on the whole thing, not as bad as feared either, and so your investment in your mind is going to be a safer one. And so to answer the question of the title, yes, it's at the end of this video. Watch time on YouTube is very important. Anyways, to answer the question, to me it's pretty simple. No, I don't see why you would take the risk and buy Crowdstrike today, even if the stock goes up a week from now. That's just my opinion. Of course, you can always play the option games, etc., that might help you. Yes, that can work, but I don't do that. You can do it. Explain to me how you do it down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts as well. All in the comments, like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.